This is my 9th video of the Defender, but this video is very significant for 3 reasons. Firstly, this is the Defender trophy. Secondly, the Defender trophy is based on the facelifted model, and this is the very first time you're seeing a video of the Defender facelift, which has come after 6 years. And thirdly, this is a diesel, which means this is the first time I'm doing a video of the diesel Defender, because all the videos I've done are of petrol models, including 4 cylinders, 6 cylinder, I don't remember, but 8 cylinders, definitely multiple times. Anyways, this is the key of the vehicle, which remains the same as before. Unlock the car, lock the car. This is to turn on the light, and this is to open the boot of the vehicle. And we have got 2 additional keys as well. So let me show you what all has changed. They haven't done much actually, very minor changes. For starters, the bumper is finished in gloss black for the trophy. Now the bumper is actually finished in silver or black, depending on the variant, but earlier it was not painted. There was some treatment here, design treatment, which has been removed with those holes. That has gone. Fog lamps have become standard now. The lights have been revised. Minor revisions, like this main beam is slightly smaller, and this thing actually, the DRL, covers the whole part. Earlier it was only the surround here, and that's about it. Matrix LED headlights, which are actually optional here. This bar is finished in gloss black. Earlier it was finished in grey, and the Land Rover logo now has a black finishing behind. Earlier it was green. The font of Defender has been changed as well, and if you notice one thing, this occupies the whole thing, the indicator. Earlier it was not occupying the surrounds or the borders, so that has also changed. So very minor changes here, which makes it extremely difficult for me to actually shoot this car, because I had to study a lot with both cars side by side to really understand what all is new here. Now you obviously get ADAS, which has been improved here, because now it gets adaptive cruise control for off-roading and all those things. I mean, really small incremental changes to this car. Now you obviously get a camera here, and you get this massive towing hook here as well. Meanwhile, since this one is the diesel, you can hear a bit of the diesel clatter straight away. Let's open the engine bay. There's obviously insulation here. This is the diesel engine, which is a 6-cylinder unit, and the engine bay is actually quite big, because this car obviously takes multiple V8 engines as well, which is absolutely phenomenal. Washer fluid goes in right here, and notice the color is almost everywhere, because this obviously is the deep sand glow yellow color, which is the trophy color. This car is actually available in 2 color options for the trophy. The other color is obviously the green and black, which also looks nice, but rupees 1 lakh cheaper. However, this one definitely looks so much better. Dual tone color shade, which means you have gloss black finishing all over here, including on the bonnet, and the trophy badging has been put right here. In fact, they have made minor changes to this panel as well. It has this textured finish. Earlier it had those 4 lines, so this has also changed. But you know what, this is actually a fake element. It's made of plastic. It's just done so that it is able to connect to the old Defender, which was the rugged one with a body on frame platform. I don't know why this thing is exposed or loose. It shouldn't be the case. There's a dash cam, which is an accessory. In fact, a lot of accessories on this car. Like, for starters, those Matrix LED headlights, those are accessories. The car has been raised all the way up. Air suspension accessory, optional bits on this car. Also adaptive dynamics, optional, and it has got the front and rear mudguard kit, which obviously has a longer mudguard. This is also optional. Yeah, I kid you not, this is also optional. And because this is the trophy, it gets these awesome looking steel wheels, which look phenomenal. In fact, tire size happens to be 255/50/20. So new alloy wheel design options and new color options as well. Grey, and I think there is a blue or something, silver, yeah, I don't remember. Those are new colors for the regular Defender. However, the Octa gets a different new color additions. Meanwhile, it has Defender written here, not Land Rover anymore, so that's another change with the facelifted model. Air suspension, yeah, I told you, it's optional now. So many optional bits on this car. In fact, this trophy has the accessory package, which is optional, which costs some money obviously, because you get this functional snorkel here. So they call it the raised air intake. This is obviously from where it draws in air. You know what? It's also there on the other side, which is obviously fake for design elements. I'll just show it to you quickly. Now, the finish here has also changed. So it has sort of a textured finish. Now, this is obviously fake because they had to just have some symmetry. But Defender was written here on both the sides. That has been removed as well. Lot of gloss black finishing on this car, like here on the hood, on the roof, on the mirrors as well. And obviously on the body side molding, which runs across the car. So that is what the trophy is all about. In fact, the length of this car almost 5 meters, slightly more than 5 meters, wheelbase slightly more than 3 meters. It's a huge car, because this is actually the 110. There's a 90. There's a 130, and in case you are wondering what's the price of this car, rupees 1.64 crores on Mumbai, plus you have to pay additional for the snorkel, to pay additional for air suspension. In fact, it has this ladder as well. So you open this using this key, the small Chintu Mintu key. You open it, you have to operate it with 2 hands, so I've already kept it open. Simply open it like this, and then you can go ahead and climb the car. This can actually take 150 kgs of weight, so your weight plus the luggage should not be more than 150 kgs. Just hold this like this and climb. I'm doing a good job actually. And obviously it has got a roof rack which can take 132 kgs of weight. Because of this, Land Rover is like, the antenna reception will get hindered, and obviously more drag will happen, so some noise will come from the roof, and sunroof is not that effective. I was just going to fall. Yeah, this ladder is a bit flimsy, but it's a makeshift one. Now you can get the ladder on the other side as well. However, if you get a box, storage box, then the ladder can only be on this side. Let me just close this right away. Funny thing is, this is a Defender. However, it's running on Goodyear Wrangler tires, and you can't just put your hand inside to unlock the car. You have to actually press the button, which happens on all the doors. Trophy badging has been given here, so yeah, multiple trophy badgings all across the car. Straight away, let's get inside. Not many changes on the inside. You just get to see this yellow color. That's about it. You get a black color interior, black roof, black seats. However, the green colored car, the green Trophy, actually has the option of beige color seats. So yeah, you have 2 color options for the interiors there. Now you have to literally climb in because the air suspension is raised to the maximum. Scooped out seat back, magazine holder here, light placement here on the top. Brand new car, brand new car. There's a hook here and a handle which is well damped. Alpine windows, which are basically the safari windows, which are Defender USP. Meanwhile, no height adjustable seat belts, no sun blinds at the rear. These things could have been added with the facelift obviously, and 2 USB-C charging sockets. But look at this, this is not aligned properly. I expect alignment here, and it has a 3-zone climate control air conditioning system. So obviously you can operate that from here, for which the air conditioning needs to be on. So I'm just going to press the button here and turn on the air conditioning. If I press it inside, nothing happens because there's no seat heating or ventilation at the rear, unfortunately. Let's shut this. There, it's off. Anyways, so in terms of space at the rear, it is very good. Proper headrest here. Center passenger also gets a headrest. You get a center armrest with twin cup holders, massive panoramic roof which is hindered by the roof rack, and this is almost flat, which means 3 people are really very comfortable here. Superb seats. This opens. Yeah, I don't know why this opens. Even in the G-Wagon it opens. I mean, what's the use of it? How does it help? Maybe while carrying stuff, to fold this seat, it becomes slightly easier. Isofix child seat mounts, but there's a problem. While footroom is good, leg room is good, under thigh support is actually okay. It's not great, it's actually okay, not very great as such. And the seat is a bit upright, it does not recline any further, so this is the maximum recline angle. Headroom is actually very good here, so it's a good place to be in. So a good chauffeur driven car, they should give the rear seat entertainment screen, which by the way is obviously going to be optional now, because Land Rover is like, we have given more accessories now. So just in case you want more accessories, you can obviously pay Land Rover a lot of money. Exposed screw heads, a very Defender thing, very nicely done. Superb. Door pockets are decent size at the rear, not very big. Meridian sound system, and no soft closed door. Okay, I'm expecting too much now. What? So just bang close the door. Now coming to the rear of the car, you will be surprised at how Chintu Mintu the changes are, because the lights are slightly different. What do you mean slightly different? Firstly, these are smoked. Earlier they were inside a slight slot. Now what they are? Flat. Yeah, they are flushed with the body, so that's a change. You could just put your hand. I think they did it because car used to get dirty and difficult to clean, so now it's sitting flush here. Now it gets a square treatment inside. Earlier it had a circular treatment for the brake light. So really minor changes. Indicator functioning at the moment. Trophy badging here. This is also finished in gloss black. This is the rear recovery hook. It's there on both the sides. That's fantastic. This is the rear fog. It's there on both the sides. That's fantastic. And obviously, because this is a Defender, you get a tailgate mounted spare wheel, and you can get a spare cover, which by the way is obviously optional. A recovery winch, which is electronic, that's also optional. Lot of optional bits. And this is the clear side camera, which obviously shows the feed in the inside rear view mirror. By the way, that's also optional. And you get a rear wiper washer, which thankfully is standard on this car. Now straight away, let's open the boot, which happens to be 646 liters in terms of space. So it tells me thank you, I don't know for what reason, but let's just stuff this here at the moment. Defender branding in random places where you don't really need it. Rear dash cam has been given, and this finish is actually very nice. Now this is a 5-seater. Obviously you get the option of 2 more seats, and this car's got 3 fuse boxes, one in the engine bay, one ahead of the glove box, like somewhere near the glove box, and one has been given here. Yeah, and there are a lot of fuses. You will see, you will go crazy. Look at the number of fuses, absolutely crazy. Yeah, too many things which can go wrong. So yeah, I'm not really appreciated. I don't know what this box is, but it looks like something for cooling. You know what, this has always been there with the Defender. I'm actually seeing it for the very first time, which is kind of funny. You can adjust the air suspension from here, so you can increase or decrease the ride height, so that it just makes it easier to load in stuff. And here you obviously have got a hook, so it's a very practical car. In fact, you get a 12-volt charging socket here. You get blower control in the 3rd row, but never opt for 7 seats, because in the last row you're going to be really claustrophobic, because this box here is actually hindering visibility in the 3rd row. You get a light placement here, so let me reduce the air suspension to the minimum. In fact, there is some secret storage space right here, including the jack and the toolkit and all those things, and a small bag also to stuff in things. And this is basically the first aid kit which comes with the car, which is very premium, naturally, because this is a very expensive car. So premium first aid kit. However, there's another first aid kit lying in the glove box, which is very cheap, and you get a proper charger there, so you can charge your laptop, you can charge devices, you can put a refrigerator as well. And I'm struggling to slot this back into place. Now obviously you can recline the seat in, I mean not recline, you can fold the seat down in, let me try this properly. Khul ja bhai. So there is 20, 40 and then another 40 format, and then obviously the boot is massive. You can carry probably the fake Defender, which is the Tata Sierra. Let's shut this, and straight away let me show you another important thing. Part of the accessory kit is this box. It's, I think, called the gear carrier. Now the fun thing about this is it is firstly locked, so you have to use the key to open it, and the key doesn't really work that smoothly, or hopefully it does. Yeah, it does. Okay, now notice one thing, it opens and it slots there, it remains open. There's this net on the inside, and it's decent sized. It can hold up to 17 kgs or 24 liters. But why do you need it? In case you are carrying gear which is wet, you don't want to ruin the interior of the car, so you just put it right inside here. This is also waterproof, by the way. So let's just shut this, and yeah, it doesn't really shut properly without you forcing it. No, this is not just working, so I'll figure this out later. Obviously, trophy badging here. Yes, this is a diesel, which means AdBlue has to go in right there. And the tire is actually wide. What is bigger is the rear mud flap, because it's obviously part of the accessory kit. Meanwhile, the exhaust is like huge. Look at the exhaust, it's massive. You get dual ports there, exposed exhaust. Just notice black finishing here. In fact, there was some treatment somewhere here which was like the front, that has been removed, so they just made it more smoother, more simple here. So that is another change which has happened in the car. Minor changes, very minor actually. And the good part is when you're getting into the rear, you have a handle here. Just pull this to get inside. That makes things much easier. Yeah, the seats make a lot of sound when you push them up, because the seats are like really heavy. Yeah, those are massively heavy. Well, that's what she said. Straight away, I will appreciate how these exposed screw heads have been done almost everywhere. And then the really big door pockets here. One touch up and down power windows with illumination, memory setting for the driver. You can save up to 3 people settings. In fact, let me just move the seat here. I press the button, you notice how the steering is actually moving ahead. The seat is moving and the steering is going inside. The seat is also adjusting itself on the inside. Only 3 changes are there actually. Firstly, for the trophy, it has this trophy badging on both the sides. It has this trophy badging here on the scuff plate. Let me just remove this. By the way, this also illuminates at night. I couldn't remove it properly, I'm sorry about that. And you can adjust, I think, the angle of the seat and a lot of things using these controls here. I don't know, some airbag warning has been given right there. You get a proper dead pedal. The exposed screw heads are here as well. And this can actually be used as a handle to get inside, which is also fantastic. You've got some storage space here, and notice one thing, there's a USB-C charging socket. So earlier that USB-C charging socket was on this side, now it's come here, and a USB-A was also there along with it. That has been removed, and the 12-volt was here, which has been moved there. So some rejig of the position of the charging ports, that's happened. Storage space here, which is good, but just press, and then you have some storage space here. Twin cup holders, which are amazing because they are rubberized. I mean, they hold your bottle so it doesn't move. You get a wireless charging pad here. You get a refrigerator as well, which is fantastic because it is obviously illuminated, but this is fixed. It doesn't move ahead or behind. Now I think the steering also has slight changes because the regular Defender had some silver finishing here. The Octa obviously has a different steering wheel. Meanwhile, this thing is not standard, the heads up display. To pay for that, this clear side camera is also part of optional kit. You have to pay for that, and there's a mirror here along with the light, and this obviously extends out. There is the microphone. Driver also gets a handle to hold on to because obviously tall SUV, body roll is a possibility. This is the only trophy bit here because this is actually finished in yellow, the body color, and they actually call it the cross beam coloring or something of that sort. Very weird. Just say na dashboard passenger side is actually finished in yellow with Defender branding there. There's a USB-C charging socket, some storage space here. You can hold almost anywhere you want, and the glove box, which is lockable, is decent size, but the cheap first aid kit is coming from some Tata car for sure. And I don't think this is cooled. Doesn't seem to be cooled. Not really. Anyways, let's shut this. Very practical car in that sense. This is a 12.3-inch instrument cluster, which is the same as before. It's a pain to actually browse through this because you have to use these buttons to do it, and you can make a lot of changes in terms of the layout, in terms of what you want to see. Like you can obviously alter what all data you see here. I just wish it was better because yeah, it's not easy to use. Buttons for cruise control. So the other change happens to be this, which is the driver attention monitor, which has been added because it's now mandatory in Europe. It's some new European regulation to remove fatalities. So yeah, this has been added as well. Steering is like really big. The horn is decent, could be better, and you get electric adjust for the steering, both for reach as well as rake. Dashboard is the same as before. Only thing is this touchscreen has become bigger in size. Earlier it was 11.4 inches, now it's 13.1 inch. However, the UI remains the same as before, which means you get slope assist, which obviously shows you a lot of information here. Besides that, you get valet mode, you get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity, both of which are obviously wireless. Seats here is only for cooling and heating, that's it. Yeah, you can't get massage in this. Probably massage is part of optional kit, but yeah, massage is not standard here for sure. And you get inbuilt navigation as well, for which I'll just press this button and come here. Okay, just clear recent. Actually, the quality of the screen is nice, and Land Rover is like everything happens with just 2 taps on the screen, which is actually quite cool. However, it has the very important AQI monitor. You can purify the air, for which obviously the AC needs to be turned on. You can obviously ionize it as well. So yeah, that's nice. Not bad actually. 67 is not bad air quality right now. And straight away, let me come out of this menu and just show you that it's actually quite easy to browse, and there's something known as energy impact, because Land Rover has always been under the radar for offering cars which are gas guzzlers, because all of them are SUVs, obviously heavy and all. So it gives you tips how to drive better. It also rates you. It tells you what's your energy impact, and the history and all those data is also available here, which is kind of weird. But yeah, Meridian sound system, audio quality is actually fantastic here. Now, it is one of the few cars which actually tells you the vehicle dimensions as well, and depending on the ride height change, it will tell you accurately what are the various dimensions of the car, which is fantastic. I love the camera here. Like, it's superb. Obviously, you've got multiple views for the camera, and then you can come into the 3D view as well. Come on. Yeah, just change it. In fact, the rear camera has a spray, so you can clean the rear camera, and that's obviously needed considering this is an off-road vehicle. You've got off-road cameras, side cameras, then you have a underbody camera as well, which is quite nice. So bigger screen obviously looks superb, and thankfully, unlike other Land Rover cars, there are physical buttons here, a lot of physical buttons. So here I turn on the air conditioning. So this is to figure out what speed you want for the air conditioning, and then you can change the temperature from here. Dual zone climate control air conditioning at the front, 1 zone at the rear, so 3 zone climate control air conditioning system. Air conditioning controls have been given here. Now if I just press this inside, I can move it left for ventilation, I can move it right for heating. So that's very nicely done actually. Obviously one button to do it would be even better. This is a volume controller, and to turn on and off the screen, again physical button, fantastic. Stop start button, downhill assist, and this is to operate the air suspension of the vehicle. Again, physical buttons, proper physical buttons, which is just amazing. I love the fact it has a proper gear lever as well. It needs to have it. It has triptronic function because there are no paddle shifters here. Surprise, surprise, no paddle shifters in this car, which is kind of disappointing for sure. But not much has changed. Like I was telling you, Land Rover could have done a lot more here, but I think there's another facelift coming because another car was actually spied recently. They've given two proper switches, different switches to obviously use the sunroof. So there's one set of switches for the sun blind and there's one set of switches to open the sunroof, and that's how it is done. Very smart Land Rover, but Land Rover is also the company which has gone ahead and actually removed buttons in all its other cars. So yeah, that's kind of disappointing. So I press a button and there opens the sun blind. This is, I don't know what this is, but lights can be touch activated here, which is kind of cool. So let's open the sunroof. Problem is that the roof rack actually hinders visibility. Yeah, it does hinder visibility because now you can't really see a clear view of what's around. Roof opens decent size. It doesn't really open that big as such, but yeah, it opens decent sized here. And yeah, it's heated a lot. I don't think it has this glass, what do you call it, UV cutting glass or something of that sort. Fast tag in a position where I don't think it's going to work because this thing is definitely going to block it here. The engine start button has been given here. By the way, this car gets ambient lighting which comes somewhere here. Just a single color ambient lighting which is red, and it has also got puddle lamps which come from somewhere here. Yeah, these are the puddle lamps, white colored both front and the rear. Tire pressure recommendation has been given. It has actually got black colored brake calipers, but you can't really see them because of the way the steel wheels have been designed, and headlight washers are actually optional here. So yeah, nothing has really changed as such. Minor change, but it's such a great car. It doesn't really need any change as such because Land Rover did a great job first time itself, and now we have got 4 powertrain options. Trying to open the windows by using this button. Is it not working? Maybe that setting is actually turned off from the inside. Anyways, let's start driving right away because a diesel is a freaking diesel. All right, let's turn on the car. Yeah, the diesel noise or sound is so pleasurable to hear. Finally, diesel Defender. Anyways, when I get on the throttle, I notice now my knee actually hits the lock and unlock button, and the position is actually not very nice because sometimes you have to hunt for it. Obviously, if you don't know, that is. First things first, air conditioning off. Yep, and then use this button to actually cycle through the drive modes. But what drive mode do I put? Because there's no sport drive mode, there's comfort, there's eco, that's it. Yeah, there is no other mode for on-road driving, which is like very disappointing as such. There should have been a dynamic mode. By the way, the boot has an Easter egg which is not safe for work. And the parking brake is here, so it automatically disengages as you come into gear. What is this below here? I don't understand only. And in the boot, there's actually a bottle holder on the right side instead of AC vent. AC vent is only on the left side. So in the third row, people on the right don't deserve air conditioning or what. And there's also a bag in the boot because obviously it's a British car, so there has to be a partition. And this wireless charging pad right here doesn't work with the phone cover, which is kind of sad. Anyways, straight away, I come into gear and I turn on the camera of the car. And I slot the gearbox into sport and off we go. I have some disappointing news for you. There are no mechanical changes here whatsoever. Everything right from the suspension, the chassis, the tuning remains the same as before, because if it ain't broke, why fix it? Nice Civic there with the body kit obviously. So this Defender is obviously available in 3 body styles. There's the 90, the 110, which is this one, and this is the 130, which is obviously the Force Tufan. And it gets 4 engine options in India. There's the 2-liter turbo, which is the entry level. There is the 3-liter diesel, which is this one. There's obviously the 5-liter supercharged V8 petrol, which is old school but lovely. And then there is the one in the Octa, the 4.4-liter twin turbo V8 sourced from BMW. But today we're going to be talking about the diesel because obviously a big fat heavy SUV like this should be powered by a diesel engine, and look at the way it absolutely pulls. Torque is the name of the game here because this is a 3-liter diesel engine. It's 6-cylinder And the best thing about this engine is that it has good amount of grunt. Firstly, it's a mild hybrid, so obviously it has that boost coming in, because all cars have to be hybrid one or the other way. And when I mean all cars have to be hybrid, I purely mean from the perspective that in European countries you have to have some sort of electric assist. I don't know why, but it is what it is. And onto the throttle and off we go. Oh my god, it pulls so nicely, really sweet pull. The engine is absolutely lovely here, because this engine makes 350 PS of power and 700 Newton meters of torque. Land Rover claims that this car goes from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 6.4 seconds. I'm going to test the claim in a bit when we get an open road, obviously. Top speed is 191 kilometers per hour, because this is running on all-terrain tires. So yeah, they restrict the top speed because these tires obviously hinder performance. In fact, they bring in some amount of road noise, and this is, I mean, other than the tires, the roof rack along with the side box and the ladder also affect the aero efficiency of this car, resulting in some amount of drag, and I think this should slow it down. So I don't think I'm going to beat Land Rover's claim today, which is kind of unfortunate because usually I always do. No paddle shifters, but Triptronic function here. It's an 8-speed ZF sourced automatic transmission, which is actually quick with shifts, gives you the right gear almost all the time, and it's decently quick as well. It's not sluggish, it's not very fast either, but it gets the job done. Torque converter unit, superb. And fuel efficiency is obviously better with the diesel, because this should return somewhere around 7 to 8 kilometers per liter when driven sedately. Can stretch to up to 10 kilometers per liter out on the highway when driven sedately, obviously. But this car has a massive 90-liter fuel tank as well, making this actually a mile muncher. You can cross continents in this car, even though there might be obstacles coming your way. No issue, because the Defender is supremely capable, and that is because of the platform. The D7X aluminum platform is just amazing. It's a monocoque, but it's a very stiff monocoque, because of which off-road ability is phenomenal. I mean, when you go off-road, obviously it doesn't flex much, but there is body roll. There's quite a lot of body roll because you can't cheat the height of a car. This is very tall, but the suspension is beautifully calibrated, so ride quality is actually very good here. Handling is decent, body roll is there, grip levels are also good, but off-road is where it excels. In fact, when you come into rock mode, there are multiple drive modes. There's actually eco, there is comfort, and then there are the regular off-road modes. One second, let me turn off this camera. Yeah, so there are the regular off-road modes. So you have grass, gravel, snow, you have mud ruts, you have sand, you have rock crawl, and then you have wade mode as well. There's no auto terrain response here, which is kind of surprising. Basically, when you come into rock mode, it electronically locks the center and rear diff, and I think I have turned on the seat heating or what. I can all of a sudden feel a lot of heat on my back, or maybe it's just the summers or the temperature which is playing spoil sport with me. So in terms of performance, turbo lag is very well contained, and the mid-range is very nice and juicy. Engine revs really fast, red lines at 4,500 RPM. What an engine, absolutely stunning. This is what a diesel engine should be, with 700 Newton meters of torque. It pulls and how, in fact, it reaches high speeds really very quickly, doesn't hesitate at all. Superb. Like, I've driven the Octa, I've loved the Octa, but this is just something else in terms of the way the engine has such great, smooth, refined and punchy performance as well. Anyways, time to time the car right now. So first things first, traction control off, left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator, revving the motor, rev still 4,000 RPM. What is happening? That's crazy. Yeah, now it's revving till almost 2,800 RPM. Now we go. Wow, simply wow. That's 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 6.62 seconds, which is slower, and I told you it's going to be slower because of all these accessories causing drag. In fact, this car is running on all-terrain tires, which obviously causes some road noise. Otherwise, you can get the all-season tires, with which the top speed will definitely increase as well. Standard, it comes with coil springs. Air suspension was standard earlier. Now air suspension is, I think, optional on certain variants. With the air suspension, what do you get? Well, you get variable ride height control from 218mm at the lowest position to 291mm at the highest position, which is absolutely crazy. Yeah, mind-blowing air suspension, and the ride floats here. I mean, the ride quality is such that you feel like you're floating. It's amazing. Obviously, there is some amount of movement here, sort of giving you the body on frame feel, but you know, when you thrash it over big bumps or bad roads, you realize that the monocoque really helps here, because neither a G-Wagon, neither a Jeep Wrangler can ever come close to the dynamics of a Defender. The monocoque shift has really helped here, because the ride and handling balance absolutely phenomenal. What a car. So when you raise the ride height to the maximum, it automatically drops the ride height at 85 kilometers per hour, because obviously aero efficiency is something which is very, very, very important now. A beautiful car. What a lovely engine. They still make some great diesel engines. Who they? Well, the people who still are making diesel engines, other than those chickens who are like, no more diesels, we can't do it, it's not great. Renault, I'm looking at you. Let's test the 0 to 100 km per hour acceleration again. Beautiful launch, beautiful, superb, what a launch. Rev till 4000 RPM and off we were. 0 to 100 km per hour in 6.68 seconds. Didn't really help by launching it this aggressively, but anyways, you get the gist. So the 90 is available as a 5-seater or a 6-seater. Then the 110 is obviously available as a 5-seater with the option of 2 more seats, 7-seater. And the 130 is available as a 7 as well as an 8-seater. There's going to be another facelift of the Defender, wherein the 110 will also get the option of captain seats in the second row. Right now, I think only the 130 gets it. So a lot is going to change on that front. The 90 is only available with a V8 engine, which is kind of surprising. So it gets both the P425 and the P525 tune. Meanwhile, the P525 tune is not available with the 110. Meanwhile, the 130 also gets this same diesel engine. So a lot of options here, which is quite amazing. But I don't understand why they have so many tunes, because the 130 also has a P500 tune. What is happening? Why so much confusion? Which actually brings me to the pricing of this car. You know the price of this car, right? It happens to be 1.64 crores. The regular non-trophy diesel is actually priced at rupees 1.62 crores. So 2 lakh premium for the trophy, not bad at all. 1 lakh premium for the green colored one, 2 lakhs for the yellow one. Obviously the yellow one is more iconic in almost every way. So it's the X Dynamic HSC, which costs rupees 1.62 crores on Mumbai. Expensive without a doubt, because it's a CBO coming from Slovakia, waiting for the Defender to be locally assembled in India. Then I'll be the very first person to actually buy it, because this is an absolute phenomenal machine. So what else do you have to pay to upgrade? Well, from 90 to 130, if you want to go, you have to pay rupees 24 lakhs. And if you want to go from 90 to 110, you have to pay rupees 9 lakhs. And from 110 to 130, you have to pay just rupees 7 lakhs. So there are total of 16 variants, which is kind of less considering there are 3 body styles and 4 engine options. I think 5 and 7 seaters and number of seats and options of those are obviously not factored in here, because I think that's more dependent on dealer level fitment. Not really dealer level fitment because it's a CBO obviously, but then you can obviously, you know, customize your car because it's a CBO at the end of the day. The air suspension is such a good thing, yeah. Honestly, it is so cool to raise the ride height whenever you want. Yeah, climbing into this car is extremely difficult. With the air suspension to the maximum position, it is even more difficult. I was actually worried if this car will touch the roof in my parking, because if I raise the ride height, it becomes kind of very high. But this this is topping out at 291. Meanwhile, the Octa actually maxes out at 323 mm, which is absolutely crazy. Now it's the time to do the brake test. 100 kilometers per hour first. Not much ABS pulsating, but the tires, they don't have the grip only to make the car stop fast, because obviously all terrain tires, this car needs to be run on all season tires to be able to effectively brake. So that's something which needs to be factored in while buying the car. Obviously the horn is okay. I mean, it's okay. Could have been better. I expected better. The steering is actually light. Look at this. But the steering weighs up beautifully well at high speeds. It's very direct. There's no shaking. There's no uncomfortableness of the steering wheel at all. That's how beautifully calibrated it is. Absolutely fantastic. It's a little big, the steering wheel, in terms of size, but it's superb in the way it behaves, in the way it's so responsive and nice. I love the steering of this car. Superb. Now, like I was telling you a few things about the pricing of the car. Well, the range actually starts at rupees 1.3 crores, which is for the base variant, on-road Mumbai obviously, which is the petrol. You pay 32 lakhs more to get the diesel, which is completely worth it, because a diesel, obviously super performance. It's 6 cylinders. You go from 4 to 6 cylinders. Firstly, you get more efficiency, you get more torque, you get just the best of both worlds. And on top of that, if you want to splurge all your money, then 3.29 crores will actually get you the top end Defender, which is the Octa Black. The edition 1 or first edition or whatever it's called has been discontinued, obviously, because they were limited numbers. It's all sold out, which actually brings me to trophy. Well, the previous generation model also had a trophy. In fact, after launching this model, they got a trophy edition of the previous generation Defender, which was obviously body on frame, and they actually priced it at obnoxious levels. So that also happened, by the way. But what exactly is this trophy? Where is it coming from? What's the reference? Well, I'll tell you how it goes. And it's going to be a little long explanation of trophy. It all started in 1980s. Someone started a challenge called Trophy Challenge, wherein people from around the globe would compete in real hardcore off-road challenges, wherein you have to take your car on a raft or make temporary bridges to cross obstacles and do like real crazy stuff, wherein you could get stuck multiple times and you have to try all your luck, put all the effort in the world to actually able to cross those obstacles. So it's sort of like the Olympics of 4x4. That's exactly what trophy was. It was actually known as the Camel Trophy. And in the first year, Land Rover was not even there. Then who was there? Well, the first year started with none other than Jeep, because I think it is probably an American competition, I don't know. So they used Jeep vehicles in the very first edition of the trophy, but Land Rover saw the potential and decided that, you know what, we'll get associated with it completely. So next year onwards, from the second year, it's been only Land Rover vehicles. So it's been the Defender, it's been the Range Rover, it's been almost all the vehicles for support, as well as the competitors' own vehicles to just cross all these obstacles, which are obviously very challenging. You can see the pictures on the screen right now. Now what happened was, these vehicles were not stock. Land Rover's special vehicle division actually made these cars, tuned them, modified them so that they could compete in these challenges. And after the challenge was done, all these special parts were removed. So selling those cars again became difficult because they would not perform the same. However, people used to say this has Camel Trophy miles on it. Used to sell it that way in the UK. Now, the thing what happened was that it was known as Camel Trophy. Not trophy, but Camel Trophy. Now, what is this Camel? Who is it? Well, Camel is the name of the sponsor, which is a cigarette brand. It sponsored it for 20 years, from 1980s to 2000s. And end of 90s, there was this tobacco ban on advertising. You couldn't advertise a tobacco product, which obviously became controversial for Land Rover, and they decided to just part ways with Camel Trophy because obviously they couldn't have a sponsor which is selling cigarettes. So that's the reason why Camel Trophy stopped in 2000, replaced by the G4 Challenge of Land Rover, and Land Rover's own challenge, that is. But now Trophy is back. There's going to be a Land Rover Trophy or Defender Trophy Adventure Challenge this year in Africa. It was announced last year, wherein participants from 50 countries will compete to be the best off-roader. And for participation, you have to be above 23 years old, and you should be knowing how to swim. You should be able to swim 50 meters at one go, and you should also know how to drive. Obviously, you should have fluent English and you should have international travel exposure as well. But in those 50 countries, India is not part of it. No, India is not part of those 50 countries, which shocks me considering Land Rover is actually an Indian brand. Okay, it's owned by an Indian company, Tata Motors, so it's not really an Indian brand, but it is owned by an Indian company. यार India को तो रख देते, थोड़ी तो इज्जत रखो हमारी. But no, it's not there only. It's so sad. So that's that about the trophy challenge, and that's the reason why we have this trophy, which is more of a marketing gimmick because people will buy it for the design. Cosmetic changes only, doesn't really off-road any better. Land Rover has something known as adaptive dynamics, by the way. That's optional. Air suspension is optional. So many optional bits on this car. Is Land Rover the next Porsche? Probably. Okay, let's launch it again. Before we launch, let me flip open the camera. Left foot on the brake, right foot on the accelerator. Come on, rev. And off we go. Some wheel spin. Actually, there's so much wind resistance here because of the way the body of this car is. 0 to 100 km per hour in 6.77 seconds. I told you, this car will simply not go from 0 to 100 km per hour as fast as Land Rover's claim because of the way the drag is on this vehicle. But as I see it, the Defender has always been and is still one of the best SUVs money can buy. The only thing is it needs to be locally assembled in India. It's high time it needs to be locally assembled in India. But why will they locally assemble it in India? There is no logic only to assemble it in India, and I'll tell you why there's no logic. Because now, and I think they've already committed to local assembly or something of that sort, because setting up an assembly line is also a time consuming process. Now that the India EU FTA is coming into effect, they can simply get the car at a cheaper rate in terms of duty to India without having to spend money on CKD, because the mother plant is in Slovakia and it was not in the UK. So when the whole announcement of FTA happened, people said that, Defender will come for Fortuner price and all, which will still not happen in spite of the fact that lower taxation will happen, because again it's a thing of positioning as well. If Land Rover positions this car at Fortuner levels, now they will have problems selling the Evoque or the Discovery 5, which I don't know where is it, because I never see a Discovery 5 only, which is kind of surprising. So they can't sell the Discovery 5, they can't sell the Velar also. Velar will be also similar pricing and all. They don't want to kill the Defender brand, considering Defender amounts to majority of their sales. I think they sold around 2,300 units last year, which is absolutely bonkers considering the price of this car. People love the Defender and it's a very lovable car. It's a fantastic car. It's almost sort of perfect. Only thing is, few things have to be addressed here and there, and then it will be unstoppable. Not that people really care about the small criticism which I do about the vehicle, because my job is obviously to tell people that what could be better and you should be prepared what you're buying in. But trust me on this car is absolutely mind-blowing. Fast, fun, great ride and handling balance, huge road presence, but there's a big problem. So one of my friend came home with his wife, and when he was parking his car, she's like, wow, is that the new Sierra? And I'm like, what? You're not coming home, you should leave from here only. And after that, I was just driving around randomly. One guy in a Brezza stopped me like this. Okay, he was sort of drunk probably, and he's telling me, wow, nice car, what is the price of the car and what is the mileage and all. So I was just telling him the car costs 1.6 crores. So the drunk guy thinks I am drunk, because how can the car cost so much? Well, he thought it was the Sierra, and I'm like, nahi Sierra nahi bhai, ye to Defender hai. And then he's like, Acha, oh okay, it's because of the trophy color, the yellow color. People think anything which is yellow is a Sierra, because Tata's obviously heavily promoted this car as the Sierra as a mini Defender.
Seriously?
Without making it official obviously, but the Sierra is not even 1% of the Defender. The Defender is in a different league altogether. The level of engineering and everything here is just entirely mind-blowing. Wow, what a car. And this diesel engine has made me absolutely fall in love with this car, because the 2-liter turbo petrol engine felt sluggish, but here the twin turbos really work so well to make sure there is no lag. It's absolutely lag-free performance, very punchy, and the suspension is so well calibrated now. Even on heavy acceleration, in spite of the monstrous 700 Newton meters of torque, there's no seesaw movement. It just stays stable and it just darts ahead with utmost grip and authority. Unlike, say, even the G-Wagon, which has to go like this down because it doesn't have air suspension. But it's not about air suspension, it's because G-Wagon has too much torque going in, at least the G53 AMG. What I mean to say here is that this car does perform brilliantly well in almost every circumstance. You take it off-road, you will be surprised how capable it is. On-road is also very nice. So it's one of the few cars which is great on-road, or rather it's great off-road, yet it's great on-road, and that is something which is almost impossible to get. And on that discovery, it's time to end. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, that's the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and let me know which is your favorite Defender variant. I love the Octa, absolutely love the Octa. I actually love the V8 with the supercharger even more than the Octa. But after driving the Defender diesel, I realized that there is absolutely nothing which can replace a diesel, because a diesel is a diesel is a diesel. Bye-bye.